So one of the main questions I get asked about seasonal work is how much money can I make? How much do these seasonal jobs pay? And that's a great question because it is work. And, most of the time when we work, we're really concerned about the money. However, I just want to say real quick that if the money is really important to you, if the money is like the most important thing to you, maybe seasonal work might not be the type of work for you. Because most of the people I know that have been doing seasonal work for a while and they love it and they keep doing it, the money is kind of the third or fourth reason down the list. Most people do it for the ability to travel to different, places they've never been to. They do it for the people they get to meet from all around the country, sometimes from around the world. They do it for the local activities they get to engage in that they would have never got to do back home. Things like that are the really important reasons why they stay in seasonal work and why people love it. And the money is just kind of one of those things. It's like, oh, cool, I'm getting to do all this fun stuff and they're going to pay me. So the money is kind of, in a lot of cases, like an afterthought. So, if money is really important and you need a job where you're making a certain amount of money or you're making good money, maybe seasonal work isn't for you. Now, to break down the answer to the question, it varies obviously from place to place, from company to company, from whatever job you're doing. It's kind of hard to just blanketly say how much money you can make in seasonal work. But I will say for most of the jobs, especially kind of the entry-level jobs, you're going to be making somewhere around minimum wage. Now, minimum wage does vary from state to state, so you could end up in a state where the minimum wage is higher than, say, your state back home, and so you might be making still okay money. But most places, you're going to be making somewhere around minimum wage. Me going into a job, I just kind of expect that, and then if they're paying more than that, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. But like I said, minimum wage is typically kind of the rule. But of course, like I said, that depends on what job you're doing. There are some jobs, that are seasonal works that, pay more than minimum wage. Obviously, if you're like a really good cook, they're not going to pay you, minimum wage. Or if you're a chef or something like that, they're not going to start you in as minimum wage. Also, real quick, I want to say too that even if you are working at a job that isn't paying as much as you like, there is lots of room in seasonal jobs for advancement. And it's pretty easy to jump into a supervisory or a managerial position, if not the same season you get there, the next season, if you're willing to come back. Because a lot of people, even the managers and supervisors, don't stay around that long. It's seasonal work. A lot of people come for 1 season, 2 seasons. So if you're willing to come back, there will a lot of times be slots opened up and you can move up in the company rather quickly and be making more money. But in most cases, you're not going to be making a lot of money. However, there are, when you start to move up kind of into maybe higher end seasonal places to work, the money does get better. For example, if you're working at kind of a, higher end ski resort or something like that, you're going to be making more money than you would probably just working in, say, a national park. That's just the way it goes. Also, too, if you're doing a job where tips are involved, a lot of times, depending on where you're working, kind of the tips go up. The tips are usually decent anyway because a lot of these seasonal jobs, most people who come are on vacation. People on vacation, they have money to spend, they're in a good mood. So the tips are typically a lot better, I found, at a seasonal job than just at a job in the real world. But too, as well as that, kind of the more high-end places you work, the better the tips are going to be because you have richer people coming there. So things like that, kind of good to know. One of the things I tell people is, hey, if you're new to seasonal work, just get your foot in the door anywhere, learn whatever, especially if you're going to be doing a new skill. Like me coming in as a housekeeper, I had never been a housekeeper before. I came in a national park, I learned how to be a housekeeper, then I moved on to some more kind of upscale places and start making a lot more money. Still doing seasonal work, still kind of doing the same thing, but I had learned the skill now so I could go somewhere and be like, hey, I've got experience, I'm gonna need more Benjamins. So you may not start out making a lot of money, but there definitely is room for advancement, and it's seasonal work, so you can move around. work a season one place, and then if you want to try to make more money somewhere else, go somewhere else the next season. That's one of the things I really like about seasonal work, is the ability to kind of pick and choose where you want to go. And every new property or place you go to, the more experience you have, that looks good on your resume, make more money, or maybe end up in a supervisor position, or end up as an assistant manager or manager or something like that. And as you're around the seasonal circuit, you will be talking to other people who have been in the seasonal circuit as well, and they can tell you the places that pay better. I mean, that's just kind of one of the conversations that come up. Someone's always going to be like, oh man, when I worked at so-and-so, I was making crazy money. So you'll learn kind of the places you can go to. So if you have a season where you're like, man, I need to make some money, I need to really save some money, you'll be able to find someone who'll tell you a place where you can go and make decent money. This is kind of one of the things I do. Sometimes I'll work at a job at a certain place for a season because I want to go there. You know, like I want to go to Alaska and work. Went to Alaska and worked. It wasn't about the money. There's another time I said, hey, you know, this season I need to stack up some coins. I had some stuff I wanted to do in the off season, so I needed to find some place to go and make some money. Found a place to go that was paying more than like the standard seasonal work pay, stacked up some money. So that's, as you're around the seasonal circuit, you will learn more things like that. But just starting out, you know, even if you're like, okay, I'm not taking just minimum wage starting out, jump on one of these seasonal work websites. I recommend coolworks.com. I'll leave a link in the description box below. Coolworks is like the granddaddy of seasonal work websites. It's the one I always use. They have lots of good jobs on there, and these are trustworthy companies that have been hiring seasonal workers for years, a lot of them, and some new ones as well. But a lot of times in the description, they have very detailed descriptions of the jobs. And sometimes right there in the description, it'll say how much they're paying. Other times you may have to click the link and go to the company's website, and it'll say it kind of somewhere in the application process. If it doesn't there, you may have to wait until you talk to someone. But one of the cool things about Coolworks is a lot of times they will have a contact name and number on the listing for the job right there on Coolworks. Don't be afraid to call up and, you know, ask somebody, hey, I'm looking at this job, I'm about to apply. Just kind of wondered what y'all are paying. I mean, that's a legitimate question. They can't get mad at you for that. So if it's really that important, you can find out how much a job is paying before you go through the whole application process. If for some reason you can't, typically when they call you for the phone interview, well, not typically, they're going to have to tell you when they call you for the phone interview how much the job is paying. If it's not paying, you know, something, a wage that will cut it for you, well, you can just decline that job and someone else will call you. It's seasonal work. If you put in enough applications, you will probably get most of them to call you back. And if you do your research, you'll probably get a call back from a company that's willing to pay you a wage that you're going to take. So wrap it all up. Seasonal work isn't really work that you're going to do to get rich. The money probably shouldn't be your biggest thing. More about experiences, meeting people, having fun. But as money is important, when you're looking for your jobs, do your research, try to find, you know, a company to work for that's going to be enjoyable employment and also pay you kind of the amount of money you want to make or need to make. But also don't get discouraged if this is the type of work you want to jump into because you want to travel more, see more of the country. Even if your first job isn't really paying a lot of money, you know, your next one might. And real quick too, I want to say, with seasonal work, a lot of times you get room and board. Most cases there's going to be some form of employee housing. Sometimes your meals are included. Sometimes you get 50% off meals at the cafeteria or the local restaurant, whatever. You have to factor in that when you're looking at your wage. So it might look like you're just getting paid minimum wage, but then you have to realize the room and board situation. So even, say, for example, you work somewhere and they charge you $10 a day room and board. So for $10 a day, you get a place to stay and your meals are taken care of. That's what, $300 a month. That's kind of, even at minimum wage, that's kind of close to one check. So the other 3 checks you get, or that's like 1 week, we'll say 1 week's worth of pay. So the other 3 weeks worth of pay are basically yours to keep. So whereas minimum wage may not look or sound like a lot in the real world, it's more than you might think in a seasonal work situation because your bills are going to be a lot less. Because, you know, it's $300 for a place to stay and food to eat, or sometimes it might be a little less and you have to pay for your own food, but even still, your bills are cut way down, so you don't have to make as much money to make it. So just kind of keep that in mind too. But like I was saying, if you don't get the job in the beginning making the amount of money you want to make, don't be discouraged, get that experience, and then next season go somewhere that's paying you more money, like, you know, and just kind of work your way up the ladder that way. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. I'm Tim. Subscribe to this channel for more videos on seasonal work. And if you have any questions about seasonal work that you don't see me answered in some of my other videos, please leave them in the comment section below, and I will try to answer them either in a video or I will type back a response to you directly. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.